I have a cousin who's getting married later this month, and she asked me to help with the food. I was thinking, sure, not a problem. I can make a broccoli salad, maybe a cheese ball, maybe some artichoke dip. But nope, that is not exactly what she had in mind. She sent me a couple of recipes, one of which was like a charcuterie board. And it is made with roses that are fashioned out of cheese and deli meats. Now, upon first inspection of this recipe, I'm thinking, I have no clue how to do this. So, what did I do? I turned to YouTube. And on YouTube, I found that making roses with cheese and salami and pepperoni is not really that complicated. So I bought myself some cheese and salami and pepperoni, and that's what I'm doing today. My little practice run. I didn't want to get down to the venue and not have practiced at all. And we can always eat the cheese and meat. So I bought some ultra thin provolone slices and 3-inch round salami and pepperoni. And that's what I had seen worked best. Now when I go to do it on the day of the wedding, I think I'm going to buy some smaller pepperoni rounds to make some smaller roses with. So we'll see how that goes. Here I had made one cheese rose and thought it did pretty good. It filled up the cup and did great. But then when I went to make another, I didn't quite have enough cheese because I'd only bought one package. So here I'm thinking, well, I can make a center for this rose out of some of the salami. So I rolled it up to put it in there, and I'm going to try to flip it and see how it does. Yeah, and it was okay, but not great. So I'm going to flip it back over, and I'm going to try to hold it up in the center with some toothpicks. I should have put this cheese back in the refrigerator as soon as I had gotten the rose made. It seemed like the cheese really starts to soften if it gets warm at all. So on the day we're doing this for real, I'll put it back in the refrigerator while I'm working on the rest of the things. So I'm just playing around with the salami until I get enough of it done up into a center for the rose. And all you do is fold it in half and you layer it on top of each other. And you do it like half and half. So halfway across and halfway across. And that way it ends up looking like a rose. Who knew? So I am putting some toothpicks in it to kind of hold it in place. And then I'm going to put it down in this rose. And I end up pushing it pretty far down in there and getting those toothpicks to stick in the cheese. And it worked out pretty well. I took a little time to fiddle with it to make sure that I had those toothpicks stuck in the cheese so the center wouldn't fall down and it all collapse on itself. But in the end, it held up really well. So now I got a game plan for the day of the event. See how the cheese is kind of breaking? It really needs to be back in the fridge. So the next one I'm going to use is pepperoni. Same thing. You just layer it over the edge of the glass, halfway over the edge of the glass, and about a quarter, you overlap it by about a quarter or a third. And you keep going around and around and around, and the center will fill up pretty nicely. And I was very surprised that this meat really did hold its shape. So there's the pepperoni one, and this one I'm doing in a champagne glass. trying to do a little bit smaller one. It was a little harder to do. Of course, I've got fat fingers, so anything in a little space is going to be hard to do. But it did work out okay. I was very surprised. I had never seen such a thing. So now I'm going to arrange them on the board. And I've got some cucumber sliced up I'm going to use for the stems of the flowers. Now, I did tell my cousin when we do this on the day of, we need to get like a English cucumber, which is really long, so we'll have long stems. This was just a regular size cucumber, and it does okay, and it looks all right for practice, but we definitely, I think, need the long ones for the day of. And the recipe that she sent me also calls for some grapes and some tomatoes, and seems like a couple other things, maybe some olives, to stick in and around this. So I've got my cucumber here that I'm making my stems out of. And I've got some baby kale leaves that I'm going to stick in between the roses here in a minute to add some greenery to it. But I think on that day it'll be very pretty to have the some grapes and some tomatoes and have some color added into it. Now, the instructions she sent me also said that in the very middle to mound some mixture of cream cheese and probably some herbs and things, and that will give the bouquet kind of a 3D effect. And so we are planning to do that, and I think that will be pretty and give you something to eat with the cheese and meat. I was really surprised at how easy this was. And if I can do it, you can do it at home. The thin sliced meats are what works the best. I played around with a couple of glasses to see which size worked best for folding. And the wine glass and the champagne glass ended up being the best. Now see, won't this be pretty with some little cherry tomatoes tucked in and around it? I'll try to find the recipe online and link it below. But I am very excited. For something that I was at first dreading, I'm pretty excited. I think it's going to be fun. It also has inspired me to put together a real charcuterie board. We'll save that for another day. Thanks for watching. See you next time.